Namaskar. Have you ever wondered, are we truly creating our lives or simply reacting to them? In a world filled with noise, confusion, and constant doing, the idea of manifestation invites us to pause, to realign, and to become more intentional about the life we are building. Hello, and welcome to Talking with Expert, a space where we bring meaningful, real, and human conversations with experts who help us reflect, reset, and move forward with clarity. I'm your host, Kavita Yadav, a psychologist and a psychotherapist, and founder of JiNa Living Positively. And today's episode is all about understanding the deeper essence of manifestation beyond just wishful thinking. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome Nita Sundararaju, a manifestation coach and law of attraction expert with over 12 years of experience helping individuals move from confusion to clarity and aligned action. She works at the intersection of emotional awareness and purposeful living, guiding people to reconnect with their inner voice. Nita is also the Chief Communications Officer at Ma2Mom, a thriving community of over 1 lakh mothers across India, where she contributes to building meaningful conversations that empower women. Her approach to manifestation is grounded, insightful, and deeply real, focusing not just on techniques but on inner alignment as the foundation for lasting change. And how do I say that? Because I've experienced her and known her from last more than 2 years now. So a very warm welcome to you, Nita. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Kavita. It is so nice of you to have me on your show today, and I'm really excited about it. Very, very excited.
Same pinch, Nita. I'm equally excited. And so let's begin. So to start, my
Absolutely.
my first question to you is, Nita, that for those who are new to this concept, how would you simplify and explain manifestation and law of attraction to them?
So, manifestation is actually just bringing what is in your inner world, in your thoughts, in your imagination, out into your experience, into your reality. Okay, that's what we call manifestation. And the law of attraction is just the process through which that happens. Law of attraction is all about understanding that, that your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, they actually create your reality.
Mhm.
So it's about understanding what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and how that is translating into into your reality. It is not magic. A lot of people feel this is all woo woo. पता नहीं कैसे होता है. People just, I don't know why people believe in something like that. But it's not really like that. It is already always happening around you.
Mhm.
And it is just for us to be aware of how it's happening.
Hmm. Right. So I can understand when you mentioned that people think it's just magic because I was also into the same phase and not knowing what it is all about. Since I met you on our community called She Mantra, and from there I got introduced to this.
Yes.
So, Neither that's such a simple yet powerful way to understand it, like starting from within, right? That's what you mean when you talk about manifestation. So, this brings me to my next question that I've seen there is often a mix of belief and skepticism around manifestation, as you have been also talking about it in your response, right? So, in your experience, what is commonly misunderstood about manifestation and law of attraction?
I feel manifestation, most people feel that it is about controlling what is happening to you.
Mm-hmm.
I should always get things the way I want them, controlling what is your experience going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about that.
Okay.
It's not really about controlling any kind of outcome.
Mm-hmm.
We feel that we want to, we want everything to go the way we feel it should go. But that's not how it works. It's more about um, understanding, that things don't always work out the way you want, but there is also something, and it's not happening because you didn't do something right. It's
Hmm.
happening because you're not aligned. Energy is something most people don't take into account, and that is where everything is. So when your energies are aligned, when the way you think, the way you feel is all aligned with what you want, that is when a manifestation happens.
Hmm.
It's happening all around. Everything that is in our lives right now, including the chair we are sitting on and the screen that we are in front of, all of that is a manifestation of what we have been thinking and feeling. Now, sometimes things don't work out the way we want, uh, which does not mean that we are not good at it, we are failing at manifestation.
Hmm.
It just means that we've got some feedback coming to us
Hmm.
about how we are aligning our energy, whether we are resisting something, whether we are, in line with what we want, whether we believe what we are going to get is coming to us. So there is a lot of thoughts, feelings, beliefs involved. um, it's definitely not about just controlling what's going to happen to you.
Okay, right. So what I am hearing is the word alignment, right?
Yes,
And that does mean there is like really shifting the idea from just wishing to consciously creating, if I can put it that way. Okay. So
yes,
Nita,
definitely. It's not
huh,
just about wish.
it's
Yeah,
not just
I
about
mean,
wishing, no?
you do wish, you
Huh,
do wish,
huh.
but it involves a lot more than just wishing. And what it involves is not so much action as
Mhm.
it involves your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So with
yeah.
that
So
note,
what you think about something, how you feel, all
hmm,
of that matters.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, to help me and help the audience understand a little better, so my next question to you is, Nita, that how do these thoughts, emotions, and belief systems they practically influence the outcome in our daily lives?
So very much actually. Let me just explain it very simply.
Hmm.
Your thought is actually uh, the way you look at the world, the way you react to what is happening to you, how you interpret what is happening to you, how you perceive what is happening to you.
Hmm.
Like if something is happening, say, today somebody said something to me.
Hmm.
More than the fact that they said something to me, what did I think about it affects me,
Hmm.
you know, more than what they said.
Hmm.
So if that person said something which I did not like,
Hmm.
I'm going to think, oh, how can they say something like this to me? This means they don't respect me. These are the meanings we give it. But if they say something nice, something that we like,
Hmm.
then we will say, oh, that means, see, they admire me or they like me. So we give meanings to everything that's happening around us.
Hmm.
And that is where our thoughts come into the picture. So our thoughts actually impact the way we see the world,
Hmm.
right? And then our emotions. Our emotions are actually telling us whether we are in alignment with what we want or out of alignment with what we want.
Hmm.
The more we feel good, it
Hmm.
means we are in alignment with what we want. And if we're feeling negative emotions like anger, sadness, it means we are not in alignment with what we want. So
Hmm.
emotions are constantly giving us feedbacks
Hmm.
that, you are in alignment or not. Instead of looking at emotions like, you know oh, I should not feel anger, oh, I should not feel so sad, why should I feel sad, I have so much going well in my life, I should not be feeling sad,
Hmm.
which is what we tend to do a lot.
Right.
Instead of doing that, when we just look at emotion as a feedback, that okay, if I'm feeling angry or sad, it means I'm not in alignment with what I want. Or if I'm feeling very hopeful or I'm feeling very joyful, then I'm in alignment with what I want. That's how emotions are giving us feedback. Then, of course, there's beliefs. Beliefs are actually thoughts that we think so often that now it's very easy to go back to that thought. That's what a belief is.
Hmm.
And a belief is quietly telling us what we what is possible for us and what we deserve. or what is not possible for us, or what we don't deserve. And these things actually drive our choices. Now, I feel that, if I feel that I don't deserve something that I really want, supposing I want a huge house, okay, a house that's much bigger than mine, but I feel I've not worked hard for it. I
Hmm.
don't deserve it.
Hmm.
I've not done anything that can, tell me that, okay, this is something that you can have, you know. So I've not earned it. So I don't deserve it. So then I'm going to not allow myself to even want it. Kya fayda? You know,
The
why
doubt
should
comes. The
I?
doubt comes in. No, in between the doubt comes.
Doubt comes in. Absolutely, absolutely. So then I will not ask for or think about or want, allow myself to want something that is something that I feel is not deserved by me.
Hmm.
So, in that way, our thoughts, emotions, and our beliefs very strongly impact how our experience of life is. Very strong.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So this, what I'm taking back is that we should look at emotions as feedback, right? And
Yes,
then come
very
back to
much.
alignment, that whether we are in alignment or whether we are misaligned with our thought or what we are wanting in our life, what we are manifesting actually. And
Yes,
then we need to pause to listen to what my belief is telling me. So I need to create that space around me to listen what my belief is telling me. Am I right when I say
absolutely.
that, Nita?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes, yes,
Right.
which might require that you give yourself some quiet time every day
Hmm. Hmm.
to observe. Yes,
Absolutely. To observe, right. And
yes,
that makes us realize how much of our life is shaped by what we carry within us. है ना? Because,
absolutely. Yes.
okay,
All of
interesting.
our outer life is shaped by what we are carrying within us.
Right. Right.
Yes.
So now, like for someone who is feeling doubtful, as we mentioned about the belief, right?
Hmm.
And feeling stuck or is low in confidence, where should they
Hmm.
begin this manifestation journey?
I think the first thing to do is, because when we are feeling stuck, when we are feeling like, things are not working out, or when we're feeling like, I don't really know what to do, things
Hmm.
are just not working,
Hmm. Hmm.
that time, our general instinct, the first thing we think of is, let me work harder.
Hmm.
Let me push a little more. Let
Hmm.
me try and do this, do that.
Hmm.
Try something different. Let me do this. Maybe what I've done till now is not good enough. So I should do something else. Let me ask somebody what else I can do.
Hmm.
That is what we tend to do. But what really is required is that we pause,
Hmm.
calm down, and we think about, okay, so this hasn't worked. I'm not feeling good. The way things are going, I'm not feeling good. Notice our thoughts. Notice what is it that we are thinking. Notice what is it that we are feeling.
Hmm.
What is it that I'm telling myself in that moment?
Hmm.
Am I telling myself that I'm doing things wrong?
Hmm.
Am I telling myself that I don't deserve things?
Hmm.
Am I telling myself that I'm not working hard enough? Am I telling myself that I'm just not, worth getting what it is that I want for this to work out?
Hmm.
So, and then, when these thoughts come in, if you notice, um, when we think like that maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe I'm not really putting in what I need to put in, your it like your heart sinks. You never feel very good.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
like
It
I
does.
I get this very like a knotty feeling in my stomach when I think like that. Like,
Hmm.
everything is all knotted up and I can't unknot it. I can't smooth it out.
Hmm.
So notice that. That is the first thing to do when you're feeling stuck. Notice what are the thoughts going on in your mind? What are the feelings that are coming up? What's happening inside your body? What is the story that I'm telling myself about myself?
Hmm.
So bring in awareness, because once that awareness comes in, things can start moving. Without awareness, if you're just going to keep doing more and more, it's not going to help. It's not going to help you feel unstuck very soon. The
Hmm.
way to feel unstuck when you're feeling very stuck is to pause and not do much. Just notice, bring in awareness.
Hmm.
And from there, then you take. forward steps. But first, awareness.
Right. Right. So awareness of thoughts, then coming to emotions and seeing whether we are
Yes,
aligned or whether we are not aligned with our thoughts,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
So that's really reassuring, Anita, right? For someone to start who doesn't know how to start on this manifestation journey as such. And what I want to also understand is that are there simple daily practices or habits that can help individuals consciously align their thoughts and energy?
Actually, there's a very simple one. Um, I think the one thing to do is just tell yourself that I'm going to keep being more and more aware of what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling.
Hmm.
So keep at least 5, 7 minutes every day where you're just noticing what is the most dominant thought I'm having today.
Hmm.
Like someday you'll be, you wake up feeling very happy and you're like, I am going to be able to manage whatever I want to do today. If that's your dominant thought, then that's how your day goes.
Hmm.
And then if sometimes you wake up thinking, you know, it looks like I've gotten out of the wrong side of the bed today. Everything's going to go wrong. I'm
Hmm.
just not feeling good about this day. I should just go back to sleep. Sometimes you wake up with those thoughts,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, we do.
Um, so notice the thought. Notice what is the dominant thought. Notice what is going on in your mind throughout the day also. It doesn't take more than 5 to 7 minutes
Hmm.
of your day to
Hmm.
do that. Not even that much actually. It's
Hmm.
just an awareness. You just bring in an awareness. Okay, I'm thinking this way.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm thinking like this.
Hmm.
That's just it. You just keep being aware of what you're thinking.
Hmm.
And then, when you notice what your dominant thought is, ask yourself whether this thought is helping me or is it pushing me back? Okay, is this helping me move forward or is it pushing me back?
Hmm.
Now, once you know that, if it's helping you, great, there's nothing to do, right? But if it's not, if it's helping you, or rather it's pushing you back or holding you back, then the thing to do is reach for a slightly better feeling thought, you know, slightly better. What will make me feel a little bit better? You don't have to jump from feeling all stuck and maybe angry to feeling like so happy that everything is great. You can't do that. It's not possible to do that. But can we feel a little bit better?
Yes, that
Just a
can be.
little,
That can be done.
so look for a thought that will feel slightly better,
Hmm.
and do this regularly. The more consistent you are with doing it, the more you practice it, it'll help you to get there faster. Instead of trying to jump from, if you're here and trying to jump here, emotions wise, uh, if you just do one step, one step, one step consistently, it's easier to get here, you know. So I feel more than trying to take big leaps, it is better to take small steps, but do them regularly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So consistency is like it helps us to build us that muscle, which will
Yes,
help us
absolutely.
to always be that space of observation, catching the thought, right? And how we are feeling because of that thought, and then aligning it. And
Absolutely.
right,
Absolutely. That
right.
really helps.
That really helps. Okay. And now when we talk about thoughts and alignment, right? I've seen that the way I am feeling, the energy with which I am moving around in my house or at my professional place, it naturally extends to people around me, right?
Absolutely. Very much. Yes.
And it extends to the environment we create for our own children as well, Nita. So,
Yes.
so as a mother, like what I really want to understand is that can manifestation principles be used consciously in parenting to build confidence, resilience, and a positive self-image in children?
So, very interesting question. And you being a parenting coach, of course, I had to expect something like this coming from you. Um, so Kavita, as a parenting coach, I'm sure you know that children don't do what you tell them to do. They will always imitate what you are doing, not what you're telling them, right?
Right.
So I think instead of teaching them about how manifestation works,
Hmm.
it is great if you live it, you know. The more you observe your thoughts, the more you observe your feelings, and the more you allow yourself to, pause and then take it from there, children will see you doing that and they will learn to do the same thing. Instead of us having to teach them when they grow up, if you do that regularly yourself, I think they absorb it so naturally that then you don't need to teach them at all. And the more emotionally aware we are, the more confident we are. Because I feel confidence comes from knowing who you really are and knowing your emotions and accepting them and loving yourself with all of that.
Hmm.
And the more you do that for yourself, the more you teach your children that. And that's really what we want, don't we? That our kids should be confident, our kids should do well in whatever environment they are in. Um, so I think what we really need to do is understand it for ourselves, how manifestation works, use it for ourselves, live it, and then in that way, pass it on to the children. They're definitely going to learn it, and it's really going to help them so much.
That's so true, Nita. Look, it's not only about being a parenting coach or working in that space. Every parent, every mother out there in today's time, I would say, knows that children are like sponges roaming around us and like
Yes,
absorbing our energy, right?
absolutely,
But,
absolutely.
but because in this hustle and bustle of this fast paced life, somewhere we tend to forget this. It just slips, it takes a back seat. So that's such a powerful reminder from you that children absorb far more than what we say.
Yes, a lot more. Yes, absolutely.
So, what are some common mistakes parents make unknowingly that you must have come across, right, in your interactions with parents because you are a part of such a big of community of ma to mom, right?
Yes, yes,
So,
very.
what are those some common mistakes, Nita, that parents make unknowingly that may limit a child's belief system?
So what you said is very true that they're making them unknowingly. No
Yeah.
parent wants to purposely make such mistakes. And yes, there are mistakes. There are many of them. Um, One is, labeling. My child is very shy,
Mm.
or my child is very confident, even if it's a positive one. It's
Either
still
way.
a label and it
Yes.
kind of limits the child. They don't know then how to be anything except this. And we don't give them space to be more than that. So labeling children is something that we can absolutely avoid.
Mm.
Um, Dismissing their emotions, not allowing them to feel the way they feel, even because we feel so uncomfortable when they are not happy, but we have to give them the space to experience negative emotions, experience positive emotions, and just be there, hold the space for them to experience all of it instead of expecting them to quickly switch to any kind of positive emotion that we feel they should be feeling. So dismissing their emotion, you don't need to cry. There's nothing to cry about this. We say that to our children so often. इसमें रोने वाली क्या बात है? So I feel that is something we should really stop doing. Then another thing I feel, as parents, we tend to do is compare. You
Ah,
know,
yes.
See, your friend did so well. How come you didn't do so well?
Even if
So
it's not
that I feel,
conscious, even if it's not conscious, it's in there in my head. I mean, there are moments.
yeah. Sometimes you may not even say it to them, but you're
Yes,
thinking it,
yes,
and they still know that you are comparing.
yes,
Somehow they just get it. I feel children are so smart that they know what you're thinking, even if you're not telling them about it.
yes.
Yeah. Then I feel, controlling how they should behave,
Hmm.
what they should say, what they should think. I've seen that, especially with younger children,
Mhm.
that if there are guests at home,
Hmm.
then we force them to give them hugs, force them to greet them in the way we feel, will look good.
Yeah.
Our Because we want our children to come across as well mannered, we want them to come across as well behaved, but we don't see, that they may or may not want to do that, they may not be comfortable doing that. And by telling them how to do things or what to do constantly, we are teaching them not to trust themselves.
Hmm.
And that also is one thing that never helps. It never helps. Um, One last thing I feel that is important and I shouldn't miss out on it is that we only praise them when they do something well. We don't praise them for who they are being. You
Hmm.
know, only their actions are praised, not who they're, sometimes they're um, working, putting in all the effort that they need to. Like they may have studied hard, but still not got marks,
Hmm.
or they may have put in a lot of effort on a project, but the teacher didn't appreciate it as much as, or didn't mark them as well as she could have.
Hmm.
Um, at such times, we feel, Array, you should have done a little better. We don't, we don't say, doesn't matter, you did well, you did your best, and that's important.
Hmm.
What marks you got is not. But we always feel that we always praise the results that they get. We never praise the effort that they put in. And I feel that effort needs to be praised more than the results.
Absolutely.
They're if they because they're constantly putting in the work that they need to put in. And if that's not appreciated, they're not going to feel motivated to put in the more effort next time or do stuff next time. And they will also always believe that results is everything. We know that it's not, because ultimately none of that matters. We know that if we want to teach our children to work in a way that makes them feel happy. But if we only praise results, we are not doing that. We are not teaching them to do that. So I feel that's one thing that we should stop doing.
Right. All the points are so valid that you brought across, Anita, starting from labeling to comparing, right? And only praising the results and not the efforts that goes behind it. What we need to understand is that no one wants to fail in his or her life. No one wants that. So
Yeah,
everyone is working hard as per their own best capacity, ability to
yeah,
do things. Right.
absolutely,
And
absolutely,
especially children, because it's a journey which is still in progress for them. Right. Their minds are still developing.
exactly,
Right. So we have
exactly.
to be that support system for them. But what happens in this is that because as parents, and that's what I have experienced on this journey, is that parents are also roaming around with so much pressure on their shoulders that how good
Hmm.
parents they are. They are
Yes,
also labored from the peers, from the society, from the community that, oh,
and
the child
themselves.
behaved,
Yes, they do it themselves to themselves.
yes,
If I don't do this much, I'm not a good parent. Or if
absolutely,
my child doesn't have this kind of results, I'm not doing well as a parent.
right. So leave aside someone else labeling, we ourselves also tend to get into
Absolutely,
that
absolutely.
competition with our own selves, right?
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
so recognizing these patterns is often the first step towards changing them, is what I believe.
Absolutely. Yes.
So this brings me to my next question, Nita, that how can someone balance manifestation with real life challenges, right? And responsibilities and uncertainties. How can we bring in this balance?
So, very interesting question, Kavita. Very interesting. Because, most people feel that manifestation is not practical.
Hmm.
Let's talk practical.
Hmm.
But we need to understand this. Manifestation is real life.
Hmm.
There is no balancing it.
Hmm.
It is real life. That is one and the same thing. It is
Okay.
not separate from your life.
Hmm.
Uh, Everything around you is manifested by you. Um, at the same time, what we need to understand is challenges, responsibilities, things that go wrong
Hmm.
will happen. You know, uh, it's not like just because now you understand manifestation, everything is going to go smoothly. That's not how things work.
Hmm.
you know Challenges do come, responsibilities are never going away. You're not going to one day get up and say, okay, now I understand manifestation, now I don't have to do anything, I just have to think about what I want and then it's all done.
Right.
ऐसा नहीं होता है.
Hmm.
So the thing to do is, notice, how are you reacting to everything that's happening around you? How are you responding to it? What are you, when things happen, that when challenges are there, when responsibilities are there, what are the thoughts going on in your mind? Are you feeling burdened? Are you looking at it like, okay, this is part of my life and I have to do it? There's
Hmm.
a very smart story and very, very good, and I think very apt story over here. There was this man who was told that he has to carry this big, huge boulder
Mm-hmm.
and climb up the hill.
Okay.
But he wanted to have fun. So he didn't want to like carry that boulder up the hill because that's hard work. So,
Hmm.
but he was supposed to do it. He was asked that, you have to do this. So he said, "ठीक है, I'll take it up.
Hmm.
And then once I put that boulder up on the hill, then I will have my fun. Then my life will begin." And then he kept going with that boulder. He's going, he's going, he's going. And it's just not getting over. And he's like, when will I have fun then? He was getting very frustrated. But he still had to keep going. So he kept going, kept going. And then suddenly it hit him that there is no life after I reach there. This is my life.
Hmm.
Me carrying the boulder up the hill is my life. In this moment, this is where I am and this is my life. So, what does that mean? That challenges, responsibilities, all of that is going to be there. Now, can you have fun in spite of that? Can you enjoy your life in spite of that? Even with that around, are you going to be able to tell yourself, yes, this is there, and I
Hmm.
can still do other things that I enjoy? I'm
Hmm.
going to look after all of this, but I can still do other things that I enjoy, and
Hmm.
I can learn to even enjoy this. Sometimes it may not be possible, but there are times when you can enjoy even your responsibilities. So it is about, do you react to everything that's happening, or do you respond to things that are happening? Do you take a pause and respond, or do you react and always just like, what the hell, why is this happening to me? So I feel once you learn to respond, once you take the pause, once you understand that this is what life is, and I can respond to it in a very positive way whenever I need to,
Hmm.
um, then your action becomes more aligned with what you really want, and then you manage to manifest everything that you want. But until you're resisting, until you're reacting in a way that's, this is not working out, and why does this have to happen? Then your actions also will be, filled with frustration and not bring you the results that you want. So
Right.
I feel it's not about balancing with real life, it's about understanding that this is life. Manifestation is life, responsibilities, challenges, everything included, and respond from there.
Right. What a
Yeah.
beautiful story, Nita. I mean, yes. So you have in a way like shared the gist of entire manifestation and law of attraction with this story. Beautiful, beautiful. Because life, as we know, doesn't follow a perfect script. No, actually, there's no script
Exactly.
for life. At every
Absolutely.
step, you have to evolve and make things happen and be in that space that, yes, I have that belief that I already have what I want. And be happy with that kind of a energy inside of it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right, right,
Absolutely.
right. So, thank you so much, Nita, for sharing such meaningful and grounded insights with us today. And this conversation truly reminds us that manifestation is not about controlling life, as you have been telling, but about aligning with it more consciously and authentically. And to everyone who is watching this episode of Talking with Expert, thank you for watching and being a part of this journey. If this conversation made you pause, reflect, or look within, do share it with your friends, family, and especially parents who are shaping not just lives but mindsets every single day. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more such thoughts and heart led conversations with experts. So until next time, take care and stay aligned, as Nita says, with your thoughts, your intentions, and your beliefs. So thank you so much. Till we meet again. Thank you.